from his recitation. He was reading about an هو الذي أرسل رسوله بالهدى ودين الحق ليظهره على الدين كله وكفى بالله شهيدا. That portion of the ruku he was reading. So I read that verse out of that full recitation. And I'm asking my audience, the sons of Islam, I said, in the past 24 hours, if any of you have heard that verse, please put up your hands. I said, in the past 24 hours, it was actually in the past 4 minutes, everybody had heard. But I'm asking, I want to make it a little harder for them. I said, look, in the past 24 hours, anybody heard these words? I repeat again. And I repeated the verse again. Wamar Sallaka. And so on. And says, please put up your hands. And one hand went up. One hand went up. In a congregation, Jummah congregation, only one hand went up. And I recognized the owner of that hand, that person knew Arabic. Because he knew Arabic, he knew what the Qari was reading. Therefore he caught and he retained, he remembered what was read in the past 24 hours. The rest of them, Muslims, all born Muslims, young and old, 99.9%. They had never heard the word in the past 24 hours. What does that mean? It meant that this was just as pure sound, music, recitation. We are listening, we say, MashaAllah, how beautifully the Qari reads. We admire his recitation. And we say, Subhanallah, Subhanallah. We praise the tone, we praise the breath control, how the Qari, for 2 minutes, the Qari Abdul Samad Abdul Basit, when he starts reciting, 2 minutes, his breath doesn't break, carries on and on and on. If you or I were trying to compete with him, our breath would break down half a dozen times before he's finished one breath. So people exclaim, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, everybody shouts. What makes one to wonder, what is the Allahu Akbar about? Allah is great, about what? The breath control. The breath control. It's not the meaning. What is the man telling you? As a people, as a whole, the Muslim world, the Allah's kalam is like water on duck's back. You know, you put water on duck's back, even in the rainy season, the duck is dry. You know, it has its feathers, the water just flows off. Similarly, Allah's kalam also flows off from our backs, from our friends, from our minds. It's just the sound, the music, the rhythm. We read the Quran for sawab, 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 blessings, blessings. And wallah, I believe that we will get the sawab. But the real message that is being delivered is being lost. Therefore, we don't catch it because we don't understand the language. We don't understand what is being read. Fortunately, this afternoon, our sister also translated it. She also mentioned that it is from Surah Nisa. She also mentioned that she started from verse 171. So, it is an occasion for us that we can go home and check it up. Check up these things. Not that we distrust the speaker or my sister who was here a little while back. We're not distrusting her. But if we go home and if we can check it up, going over it once more again, she has said something, maybe we caught something, some message of it, and some of it we didn't, because we might not have been familiar with it. But if we go home and check it up in our own good time, then that knowledge becomes a part of us. It becomes a part of our knowledge. And then when we start sharing with others, it really becomes our property. Like this, it's very good, you listen to a talk, mashallah, you know, it was well delivered, you know, well, the man was well spoken, and he was mesmerizing the people, all that kind of things can happen, but it's It's a short-term entertainment. We're getting entertained. You do get entertained. We all get entertained. See, by our learned people, they come along, entertain us. So it is a very good idea to go home and check up in the Qurans at home. I take it that every Muslim has a Quran at home. But it's very difficult for the non-Arab, we non-Arabs. I don't know how many Arabs are here. They might be very conversant with the Quran, I don't know. But the bulk of our people, very, very difficult. Our sister said Surah Nisa. In a Quran, a volume of this magnitude, this particular one is a translation, 1,920 pages. Where will you find Surah Nisa? In the first instance, go and check it up. Where? But if you have a translation like this one, this particular one, published on this subcontinent, this part of the world, in Lahore, it was first published in 1935 or therearound by Sheikh Muhammad Ashraf, Kashmiri Bazaar, Lahore. This translation is by Abdullah Yusuf Ali. There is another one, Muhammad Ali Qadiani. This is Yusuf Ali. Abdullah Yusuf Ali. Now, in this particular translation, it has advantages which no other translation has. And the advantage here is, number one, that this is the only translation I've seen so far which gives you a verse-by-verse translation. For example, starting with Surah Fatiha, the opening chapter of 7 verses, it begins, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Exactly opposite that Bismillah in Arabic. On the opposite side, you see, in the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. So all praise is due to Allah, the cherisher and sustainer of the worlds. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim, most gracious, most merciful. Maliki Yawmiddin, the master of the day of judgment. Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'een. He says, Thee alone we worship and Thee alone we ask for help. Ihdina siratal mustaqim. Say, guide us on to the straight path. Siratal ladhina an'amta alayhim. The path of those on whom Thou hast bestowed Thy favors. Ghayril maghdubi alayhim waladdallin. Not of those who earn Thine anger, nor of those who go astray. Verse by verse translation. And as you are reading, you can focus your attention more on this translation, because as soon as you read Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, at the end of that ayah, that meaning, you see a number. That number tells you that there is a commentary, tafsir at the bottom. This particular one will say 19. You look at number 19 at the bottom in smaller types, gives you the tafsir, commentary. It tells you what is Rahman, it tells you what is Rahim, what is the difference between these two, and what are the relationship between the two. So your attention is focused on the ayah longer period of time. So you digest that knowledge. It's more easily digestible. Because the Quran, the whole Quran, is a book of revelation, wahi, but Allah Bari Ta'ala sent this wahi like telegrams. Actually, that's how they came to him, by telegrams. It was not like stories like you say, you know, once upon a time, the fox and the grapes, or the wolf and the lamb, or once upon a time, there was a tailor in China, and he had a son called Aladdin, and Ali Baba and the 40 thieves. No, nothing like that. The Quran is a very concentrated book. And Allah talks by telegrams. And everybody, it's not very easy for everybody to understand telegrams. We might be literate, we read books and all that, read newspapers, but telegram